Welcome to the very first podcast of Let Me Speak to Your Manager. This is a podcast that celebrates the front line of customer service. Here, we will tell the harrowing horror stories and hysterical nonsense that happens every day in this realm. You'll laugh. You'll cry. Just as I did when working retail. Mostly the crying part. I'm your host, Ryan Cole, and with all the craziness going on about a certain pandemic and mobs of people swarming supermarkets, I figured we'd kick this show off with one of my own personal tales of a similar situation of a much different time. So with that said, let's begin. This is the Black Friday Bedlam. The receiving area was much more silent than I'd ever heard it before. I'd been working in this mega grocery store for some time, but this was going to be my very first Black Friday. Needless to say, I was pretty excited. Not only had I never worked a Black Friday before, I'd never even participated in one. This wasn't an activity my family took part in, so naturally my excitement was growing as I was standing in the empty stock room. But there was a truck to unload, and I was the only one tasked with this duty, since everyone else was on the floor preparing it. There was one lone trailer backed up left to be unloaded. Lined up down the hall were pallets of dark saran wrap disguising what was inside. These had been unloaded prior to my arrival. I opened the door to the trailer. More mystery pallets were left to be unloaded. I approached the closest one, doing my best to try to peer through it, but the dark wrap did its job. I couldn't see a damn thing. I grabbed my pallet and unloaded the rest from the truck. As I did, my coworkers on the floor began to grab the pallets that were already lined up and started placing them strategically throughout the aisles. After the truck was unloaded and all the pallets were placed, the waiting game began. It was excruciating, waiting for the minutes to go by. I was ready to kick this party off. Eventually, they opened the doors and allowed people to kind of slowly trickle in. After they trickled in, well, then they had to play the waiting game. Having people in the store helped the time pass. I enjoyed talking to customers. It was my favorite part of the job, overall. Finally, the time had come. I worked in the toy department, and my department manager gave the countdown to cut the black wrap. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When the mask of mystery was finally ripped off that pallet, the crowd attacked. The bedlam had began. I was standing in front of a pallet of Tickle Me Elmos. Everyone was in a frenzy trying to ensure they got one for their child. I'd never seen anything like it. It was like somebody throwing out a bag full of candy in a classroom full of kindergartners. Mortal Kombat mixed in. People were shoving, pushing, and cursing. Hell, I was in the thick of it. I was shoved around and ultimately pushed down onto the floor. The dude who did it, he didn't even notice, as he was trying to just get that goddamn doll. I didn't really take too kindly to it though. I sprung right back up, and as I did, I made sure to ram my head right into his ribcage, causing him to gasp for air and kind of crumple over a little bit. I pushed him out of my way and then backed away from the chaos in the crowd. Let the sharks rip each other apart, I thought. The bedlam continued until there was only one last doll. 2 women, either in their late 30s or early 40s, fought over it. Both fighting over the package like 2 hyenas over scraps of meat. When one of them gained the upper hand, the show really began. The woman on the edge of defeat played her last card. A right hook. I couldn't believe what I just witnessed. And neither could the victim. She apparently had eaten a few hooks in her day and blasted the lady right back with a backhand and completely caught her attacker off guard. She wasn't done there, though. She gave the aggressor no time to react by grabbing a fistful of hair, yanking her down, and delivering a series of uppercuts. But she still wasn't done. After the right hook lady took a barrage of uppercuts to her grill, backhand lady grabbed a fistful of hair with the other hand. Now, with both fists full of hair and leverage, backhand lady slammed right hook lady into the stocking shelf, over and over, until she finally tired out. Once she tired out, she let go of her attacker, who then fell right to the floor. I could hear the attacker sobbing as she curled up in the fetal position. Blood had splattered all over the counter and the floor. Once backhand lady caught her breath, she turned and left without even taking the prize that she had fought for. She had claimed another prize, an ass whooping. I checked on the battered woman on the ground. She didn't look pretty. We called her an ambulance, and I set the discarded doll next to her as she waited for the paramedics. I never saw her touch it.
So what'd you guys think of the Tickle Me Elmo story?
A lot of questions.
A lot of questions?
Tyler?
Yeah. I mean, there was, one, there's a lot going on. Two, just, I'm not quite sure I don't know what I feel. I feel something.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I mean, they felt something too.
They
Yeah.
definitely
Bruises.
felt something.
Bruises, and you would think that an iconic doll like that, you would at least take it. I don't know.
Yeah, the only thing they're gonna have that's red when they get home is their mom's bloody face. So,
Well, one of them and the other bloody knuckles.
yeah.
I guess that's a good motivator, though, when you go home and your kids ask you why the hell they don't have their Tickle Me Elmo doll. You just like raise your bloody knuckles.
It's like, well, I tickled somebody's face with my fist.
Well, so one of the comments that caught me at the end there. So you said the lady didn't look pretty. Did she look pretty before?
I mean, this is Oklahoma, and not really.
So it didn't.
So maybe it helped her. She didn't look pretty, but maybe it helped her.
Maybe on the reconstruction.
Yeah.
Or maybe she's like, now she has a reason not to have. She has one less tooth.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. So how many people at the door here? Because you mentioned that you got pretty much physically attacked in a way. I mean, how many people bum rush this door here?
Oh, God. There were a lot of people. Now, I was in the back. So how they did this when I was there, I don't know how they do it anymore because I fucking avoid Black Friday. So what they would do is they would have all along the main aisles, kind of went in a U for the main aisles from main door to main door. And they would line these pallets up at certain like little checkpoints along, and people would, I guess based on the ads that they had, kind of guess where shit would be based on what department a pallet was put in, and they would just kind of hover at that point. So how many people were at that specific pallet that I was at? Between probably 25 and 30-ish, 40, somewhere
So it was
in
like
there.
one of the front page items?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, just kind of being curious here, did you ever take those pallets and like hide a random Elmo over at like by the fish food or something?
No, that would have been a good idea. Like I said, like in the story, that was my first time dealing with it, so I didn't really know what to expect. Had I not been the only person unloading the trucks, I probably would have opened one of them and seen what was inside. But there would have been nobody to blame but me, so I couldn't have got away with it.
Be fun. Reward people.
Yeah.
Thinking. So, do have to ask as well. When this all went down, sounded like you saw quite a bit of it. So, you just sat back and watched?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just sat back and enjoyed the show.
Okay.
Oh, sounds like a typical employee of that store.
Well, I mean, I was in the thick of it before and got assaulted, so I said, y'all people just handle it on your own. I just backed away at that point.
So this was
I didn't get paid enough to deal with that bullshit.
So this was a see something, say nothing situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and that's what I was gonna ask. So you had who snitched? Like who's like, oh, by the way, this is where the Tickle Me Elmos are gonna be. Like, if they're, I mean, arguably could be random things.
So
someone leaked the document or the manifest and said, oh, by the way, here we go.
So like I said, in the ad they had, you know, the specials of what was going to be there, but by the toy department, you know, there was only 2 or 3 pallets in front of it. Other people that were at other pallets, when they heard that Tickle Me Elmo, like, people came rushing from other pallets. That was the hot item for whatever reason that year.
Oh, I remember the craze and seeing lots of happy kids with them,
yeah, they played with them for a week or two, and
I don't know if it was that, but I know, like, for me, when I get a toy like that for the kids, like, it disappears quick. It ain't that they don't have it; it's just like, okay, shut the fuck up. It's time to put up, get gone. So I'm sure that's probably some of it, but. So you were describing this truck. Like, I'm picturing this big 18-foot truck pulling up to your all's dock and it having 1 pallet on it. And you have to go there by yourself, because I don't know.
there was more pallets on there.
Okay, well, you made it seem like there was just 1 pallet on there, and it was like the golden unicorn egg-laying.
No, it wasn't completely full. It was probably around halfway full. Because, like I said, there was some pallets that were already lined up. I just saw the very first one in line, and I tried to see what was in it. I tried to peek through the plastic the best I could. I took it out and got it in a light and tried to see what was in there without tearing the damn thing open. They'd gotten the truck like the day or two before. They just didn't unload it until it was time to go. Yeah, it was just locked.
Yeah, I thought they were holding up the crowd for, like, it's like waiting for
a
pop star or something at a concert, and then they finally let one in because they're 6 hours late because they were doing coke and whatnot.
Yeah.
And just woke up late and they're like, hey, you got a show to do.
Now, because back then, what time does it open now? It opens Thursday night now. I don't think they did that back then.
No.
That's a new trend.
It was like Friday morning.
Like 1 or 2 a.m.?
No, it was later than that. It was like 6 or 7 a.m.
Good old days.
Yeah, the good old days. So like people would
worked those. I wasn't getting up for that.
People would be like lined up for that shit. So it wasn't like it is now where people could go on Thursday or if they could shop online or nothing like that. It was crazy shit.
So tell me a little bit more about Rob Ribble.
Rob Ribble.
The guy you ribbed in the... It's just only because I was like, man, if I got knocked to the ground, I don't know that I don't know how I would react.
But yeah, it sounds like you assaulted a customer.
I did. Because I was so pissed.
I heard a headbutt and a shove. So twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he hit the ground?
I don't think so.
No, because he kept going. He's like, you know what? I got my.
I think he kind of took it in stride.
He's probably an elderly guy. We're just a little loose on the details. Okay.
Guy goes home. He turns into Joe Swanson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. Was the guy in a motorized cart? That's what I need to know.
No, but I was a lot more agitatable when I was younger.
Nice.
If that's a word, I don't know. I think that was a Bushism I just did.
That it was somethingism.
It made sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I guess obviously you got the product in there. You took out Rob Ribble, and then we determined now that the truck was not as empty as it appeared in my brain. But let's talk about Sandy Hook and Backhand Hoe.
I had her down as a sucker punch Linda.
Sucker
punch Linda. So
yes, that was perfect.
Laying the Sandy Hooks. Yeah.
I didn't know where this conversation was about to go.
Yeah.
I thought you were fixing to break out the Alex Jones voice.
Yeah.
No, I don't. It could have been the aliens. Or Obama. Either way.
I wish I could do an Alex Jones impression, but I don't think I can. Anyways, what was your question? I got completely thrown off.
So we got right hook, fisting hair, sobbing at the end. Didn't look pretty. Like, what the holy hell? Didn't even get the prize at the end. So I'm sitting there going like, in my head, I'm putting myself in the shoes. If I'm getting pummeled, or even if I'm doing the pummeling, yeah, the prize, the trophy is kicking someone's teeth in and being proud of it. I guess I don't know how I'd feel, but if I kick someone's ass, I'd be like, well, that's something that happened. And
I won. I'm taking my Elmo.
Yeah, I'm taking the Elmo with me. That's like, I'm not leaving it there. The whole point was not to kick someone's ass. It was to get the Elmo. The kicking the ass was the byproduct. So now I got two products out of it.
Yeah, I honestly don't know why she didn't take it. The only guess that I have is maybe after the fight was over, she kind of realized, like, what the fuck just happened, and she was literally fist fighting and slamming somebody's head into a shelf over a toy, and maybe thought it wasn't worth it. I don't know. I don't know why she didn't take it.
So was security footage ever? Did you ever get your hands on that? Did you ever get a peek at that?
No.
Saying the world deserves to see this. So
I know. I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. I don't even think we had a camera in the aisle because the next year, because I worked there probably about almost 2.5 years. I worked there my junior and senior year of high school, and then like during the summer after my high school, after I graduated. But the next year, the what they call those guys, like the asset protection. He actually
the loss prevention.
Loss prevention. Yeah.
Fake security guards.
Well, yeah, kind of. Yep.
Okay.
So the guy that was over loss prevention, he actually worked. He started there just unloading trucks. So a lot of times when I would have to go and unload trucks, he was usually the guy back there unloading trucks. So he was a pretty cool dude, but he got promoted into loss prevention, and so I helped him set up the new like security cameras and stuff they put it. And I was shocked at how many places didn't have security cameras.
Well, if you're talking that,
I mean, it's a huge store. It's
a massive store, and you're talking at that point in time when that was. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of ways to I mean, you had to run wires for forever. It's not like now where you can have wireless setups.
Yeah, that's true.
The Wi-Fi wasn't surely nearly as good as what we've got now. So I mean,
and
I can
even
totally see that.
And even when we put up those, like shit, that was still before iPhone, right?
Well, and then the rest of it too is you got a big metal building, so anything working off of Wi-Fi and having to go through anything other than airspace was, deflected at that point in time, because I think probably only had the higher bandwidths.
Yeah. I mean, really the only places that had cameras was electronics, jewelry, the firearms over there in sporting goods, and the makeup aisles. Those ones had a ton of cameras because that was the highest shrink place, and the whole damn store was the makeup.
So in my head, I'm again on this fight. Like I'm literally picturing Peter Griffin fighting the chicken. That's all I'm seeing. Pew 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 pew. Boom 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 boom, and then it's just a complete back and forth, and like the whole time.
Well, there was no back and forth. There was the initial punch, and then the counter punch, and then that was it. It was the counter. The backhand lady just took it completely from there. Like the other person didn't even put up a fight after that. I mean, so I think she like Sandy Hook or whatever. What was the one you came up with? Right
this was Sucker Punch Linda.
Sucker Punch Linda. Yeah, so
punch.
I think she thought she would get that sucker punch in, and that would take care of her, and then she would have the doll. But she didn't know she was messing with Ronda Rousey, apparently.
What kind of good transition? So I was about to ask there. So on the 2 questions there for you. One, compared to kind of a women's UFC fight, was it better than what you've seen from the UFC? And then second thing would be, why didn't you record this on your cell phone?
Well, okay. I'll answer number 2 first. Number 2, I had... The cell phone I had didn't have a camera.
Okay.
So that answers that question.
From Straight Talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you put it on World Star, you can record it with a potato, so that sounds like an excuse.
I'm trying to even think even what phones had cameras on it back then. But anyways, regardless of that, as far as the UFC, I would say it was a little more exciting UFC fight just for the simple fact that there was weapons involved, like the stocking shelf. So it was more like if the UFC met the WWE.
It's kind of like that clip back in the day with, was it Stone Cold and Booker T when they fought in the grocery store? You ever seen that before?
Yes, I have. That's exactly what it was.
Okay.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking like Kimbo Slice here, just like,
yeah.
Oh, okay, you hit me in here, boom, and then you're just done. Like a couple punches, you're just knocked the fuck out, TKFO. So
instead of bum fights, it's mum fights.
Mum fights.
Mum
yep.
fights.
Mum
fights. A little UK thing, but close enough.
That's close enough.
Hey, Mum.
Hey, Mum.
So my mum came home. Her bum was whooped.
Mm-hmm. Her face was numb. Oh. My mum is numb.
My mum is numb.
Oh man! I wonder what that conversation was though. Like,
what? Right.
When
So maybe. So here's my twisted minds, my thought process. Okay, so backhand hoe who goes home crying. No, it was right hook. Right hook goes home crying because they got their ass beat. No prize at all. No tickle me Elmo, no nothing. And maybe she just disliked her husband and said, "Oh well, he hit me."
I mean, okay.
Yeah.
That's sick and twisted, but hey, that'd be my luck.
I mean, I guess that's a better way to kind of go out rather than admit you got your ass whooped over a tickle me Elmo.
I don't know. Yeah, how do you explain it to your kids? Hopefully, their kids were too young to remember. But I bet, hey, Mom, remember the time you got your ass kicked? And she's gonna remember that. Like, that's a memorable time of the year. That's like Thanksgiving. That's like
if that would have happened to me, I would have wrecked my car on the way back home. Like, there's no way that I'm coming home and admitting that I got my ass whooped over a tickle me Elmo. There's just no way.
I wonder if you can isolate the date in the city and look up any traffic reports and see if that actually happened. Because I wouldn't be shocked to see if that happened. Because I mean, yeah, you're right. I'm not going home like that. I'll be driving around town for.
Yep. I may never go home. I may just move to another city and change my identity. Fuck that.
Yeah, like I said, there was no footage of it, no proof.
It's true.
Just so mind blown by just the straight antics of the whole thing. Like it just doesn't. It's just mind blowing that how tribal people get when it comes to stuff like that really doesn't matter.
Stuff that was actually on the shelf 2 weeks ago.
If they would have just paid attention.
They would have just bought it, yeah.
Yeah.
Or just waited until after Christmas, because half the time that shit goes on sale and it's cheaper than it is at Black Friday.
She can't tell people that.
Plus you're buying stuff for your kids that they won't use in 6 months a year now.
I remember what was those Furby things? Remember those Furby?
Yeah.
Like I remember my parents doing that almost similar crap to get my sister a Furby, and I think she played with it for like a couple weeks, and they got freaked out by it because it was creepy as hell.
Oh, they're terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But so speaking of that, so in I had a buddy back in the day, and he was absolutely terrified of them.
Oh, Furbies?
Oh, like and he's.
I don't blame him. They're creepy.
And we were almost adults at the point in time. We were like 17, 18 years old, and he was terrified of them. I was like, okay, so I would go to McDonald's and get the Furby Happy Meal, and just for the Furby,
Just plant it.
and just plant it all over his house.
It looks like a mini gremlin.
Dude, he would smash every damn one of them. We'd go over to my cousin's house, and I'd have them just lined up. Hey man, you go play some cool. We go to this pool room, and he would just walk in there and just be like Furbies. You would just see him kind of like almost like step back for a second, like kind of seize up a little bit, like butthole pucker, like he was about to get jumped. And I was like, what's going on? But it was funny because he literally hated them. He would try to smash all of them, but it was it was something else. It was quite funny.
Yeah, I don't blame him at all for that.
You know, just see the sheer terror in his eyes. Like, what have you done to me? I'm still just mind blown that no one took the toy home.
Nope.
So someone eventually took the toy.
Someone eventually did.
You didn't see it? You didn't put it next to the lady and some
You didn't
I
like
don't
sly
remember.
person just backhanded it and walked out with it?
you didn't bundle it with some peroxide or something to help clean the.
Well, I mean, the blood wouldn't show on the Elmo anyway,
Well-
so...
Why does this Tickle Me Elmo have peroxide with it? Well,
Well, if it had some blood on it, it could have been that time of the month Elmo.
I mean,
So,
well, they
that-
really never come out and say
that would have been the legit "Stop touching me, Elmo."
yeah.
don't touch Tickle Me everywhere but there, Elmo.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, like
Don't pull the string, Elmo.
Yeah. Yeah.
oh,
I think we have an idea.
oh damn. But no, if I was that lady that got my ass whooped, at least if you took the Tickle Me Elmo home, you could tell your kid, like, this is what I did for you. I was in a big brawl. I got jumped, stabbed,
Got my ass kicked for nothing
to get you this doll.
to get you this doll that I didn't even get.
Yeah. So I don't.
Well, maybe she didn't love her kid.
Yeah.
Maybe she wasn't even getting it for a kid anyways. Maybe she was just getting it to turn around and flip it.
I mean, that's true too. I mean, but that's even, to me, that's worse.
Oh yeah.
I would rather, like, if I was gonna get it to flip it, I would have got it, flipped it, and at least been like, okay, this will help me, heal.
Yeah.
It'd be some sort
Or
of.
maybe you sell it because you got a backstory with it.
It's like, I gotta pay the hospital bills to reconstruct my face.
Yeah.
After getting it bashed in by the steel plates and.
I mean, the thing I was most annoyed about is I had to take all that stuff off the shelf that was still on the shelf. Take that shelf off and then switch it out for one that didn't have blood on it. And then I had to clean up the floor. That's what I was most upset about.
So title this episode, Clean Up on Aisle 3?
Clean up on aisle 3, yep.
Yeah.
You got any other questions? I saw you writing a bunch of shit down over there.
Nah, it was just, I was about to say the only thing that was tickled in the story was I was tickled to hear that you just sat back and let it happen. So that kind of tickled me. And it's really about it. So, but you let this happen, I'm glad you did, because now we're talking about it.
Well, speaking of tickle, where's Dilly Dilly at?
Oh, old Tickle Rick.
Oh, if everybody could see now, this is old Rick is a terrified pickle, and we have lots of Dilly Dilly jokes and Tickle the Pickle jokes, and he would be, I'm sure, tickled at this point.
I mean, Pickle Rick is just a very angry, drunk Larry the Cucumber. So, It's a VeggieTales gone wrong.
Oh, we have great conversations with him. He has his own side conversations with Danny.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes
A lot of FaceTime.
with Danny.
Does make a good some good back support too.
Yes.
Some lumbar support.
Doesn't he have his own room here?
Does have his own room, yeah.
His own room. He's feeling a little stiff right now, so he's.
Mm-hmm.
That's why that's a private time.
But yeah, he can't. We didn't want to get him too tickled during stiff time.
Too pickled. Oh, pickle me Elmo.
Pickle me Elmo.
Well, that's a whole different thing.
That is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
That's what they do on 9th Street.
Yeah, I was about to say that's a different type of store. Well, I think that's what we got for you, Ryan.
All right, cool. Well,
hopefully, get some good stuff in there.
What about what we got next time? I think it's time for one of your stories next time, right?
Man, we'll have to go through. I've got a really good one, and it involves a military mom.
Oh, okay.
A 16-year-old.
Sensitive subject.
Involves a Denver Nuggets ball cap.
Okay.
Okay.
Some ink. And a wild chase through the mall
Okay.
and into the parking lot. Oh yeah, this is the shoe store days.
All right.
This was quite the entertaining blow.
Mall's a crazy place to be.
It's nuts. I can go on for days about that place. Hundreds of stories.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll end it there, and we'll look forward to...
Yeah, we'll get it figured out. But yeah, it was it'll be entertaining for sure. I'm sure you'll have plenty of questions, and the banter will be great at the end.
Yep, a lot of shoe store retail stories. So, all right. Well, I guess this is the end of episode 1 for Let Me Talk to Your Manager.
I think it's Let Me Speak to Your Manager.
Let Me Speak to Your Manager.
Yeah. We don't know yet. We have no idea what this show is.
Something like that. But someone's manager is getting talked to.
This is just like Seinfeld. It's a podcast about nothing.
There we go.
Yep.
Podcast about nothing. It means nothing. It is nothing until you listen to it. Then it's something.
Then it's something.
Exactly.
Like you said, you felt something. You'll feel something. We'll feel something.
So
Harvey
I guess
Weinstein.
the way to end this one is, I hope we tickled you today.
And clean up on aisle 3.